Everyone, it's Miss Joyce. Today we'll be multiplying decimals using the area model. Let's start with 5 times 3/10. First step is we're going to draw a rectangle. Then we're going to write the first factor, which is this 5, to the left of the rectangle in unit form. Since the 5 is in the ones place, we're going to write 5 ones. The next step is to write the second factor, which is 3/10, on top of the rectangle in unit form. So we'll write 3/10. Next, we're going to multiply the number to the left of the rectangle, the 5, by the number that's on top of the rectangle, 3. So 5 times 3 is 15. Now we're going to multiply the place values. So we're going to multiply ones times tenths. Well, remember, whenever we multiply by ones, it's always the other number we're multiplying by. So ones times tenths is tenths. The last step is to rewrite our answer in standard form. So the answer is going to be 15/10. Let's use the place value chart to help us. Since the 15 has a 5 as the last digit, that 5 is going to go in the tenths place. The 1 is regrouped to the ones place. Remember, the decimal always goes between the ones and the tenths. So our answer is going to be 1 and 5/10. Let's try another one. Here we have 4 times 13/100. First step is we're going to draw a rectangle. Now let's write the first factor to the left of the rectangle. So that first factor is 4. Since it's in the ones place, we're going to write 4 ones. Now let's write the second factor on top of the rectangle in unit form. So the second factor is 13/100. So we can see there's a 1 in the tenths place. So we're going to write 1/10 plus the 3 in the hundredths place. So we're going to write 3/100. Wherever we see the addition sign, we're going to draw a line to separate our rectangle into two parts. This will allow us to multiply the numbers to the left by the numbers on top. So let's start by multiplying for this first rectangle on the left. We're going to multiply the numbers 4, because that's what's to the left, times 1, since that's what's on top. 4 times 1 is 4. Now let's multiply the place values. Ones times tenths is tenths. We're going to do the same steps to find the product that's going in the second rectangle here. We're going to multiply the numbers that's all the way to the left, so the 4, times all the way to the top, times 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. Now let's multiply the place values. Ones times hundredths is hundredths. So we have 12/100ths. Now let's rewrite each product in standard form. We can use our place value chart to help us. Let's start with 4/10. This means the 4 is going to go in the tenths place. Now let's go to 12/100. Since the 2 is the last digit, we know that 2 is going to go in the hundredths place. The 1 is regrouped to the tenths place. So here we have 12/100. Finally, we're going to add the products together in order to get our final product. So we'll add these numbers together. Since there's nothing in the hundredths place, let's put a 0 there. Now let's start by adding the hundredths. 0/100 plus 2/100 is 2/100. Now let's add the tenths. 4/10 plus 1/10 is 5/10. There's nothing in the ones place, so we can put a 0. Remember, the decimal point always goes between the ones and the tenths place. So let's put the decimal point here. Our final answer is 52/100, or 0 and 52/100. Let's try one more. Here we're going to multiply 5 times 123,000. Let's start by drawing a rectangle. We're going to write the first factor, the 5, in unit form to the left of the rectangle. So let's put 5 ones. Now we're going to write the second factor, which is 123,000, in unit form at the top of the rectangle. So we can see there's a 1 in the tenths place, so we're going to put 1/10, plus the 2 is in the hundredths place, so 2/100, plus The 3 is in the thousands place, so 3,000ths. Wherever there's an addition sign, we're going to draw a line to break up our rectangle into smaller rectangles. Now we can multiply to find the product of each rectangle. We're going to multiply the number to the left times the number on top. So 5 times 1 is 5. Now we can multiply the place values. Ones times tenths is tenths. So this first product is 5/10. Let's find the product of this middle rectangle. We're going to multiply 5 times 2, which is 10, and ones times hundredths, which is hundredths. Now let's find the product of the last rectangle. Let's start by multiplying the numbers. We can see we're going to multiply 5, because that's all the way to the left, times 3, since that's at the top. 5 times 3 is 15. Now let's multiply the place values. Ones times thousandths is thousandths. So we have 15 thousandths. Now we're going to rewrite each product in standard form so we can add the products together later. Let's use our place value chart to help us. We'll place 5 in the tenths place in our first row. In the second row, we're going to place 10 hundredths. Since the 0 is the last digit in 10, that number is going to go in the hundredths place. The 1 is regrouped to the tenths place. Now let's place 15 thousandths in our place value chart. The 5 is the last digit, so that's going to go in the thousandths place. The 1 is regrouped to the hundredths place. And since there's nothing in the tenths place, we can put a 0. Now let's add these products to get our final answer. Wherever there's a space, we can put a 0. So let's start by adding the thousandths place since that's our smallest place value. 0 thousandths plus 0 thousandths plus 5 thousandths is 5 thousandths. 0 hundredths plus 0 hundredths plus 1 hundredth is 1 hundredth. And 5 tenths plus 1 tenth plus 0 tenths is 6 tenths. Notice there's nothing in the ones place, so we can put a 0. Remember, the decimal point always goes between the ones and the tenths place. So our final answer is 0 and 615 thousandths.